What if I told you the best gaming moments don't happen online, but right next to you on the couch? These are the games built for laughs, rage quits, and those late-night marathons where just one more round turns into sunrise. From chaotic teamwork to pure button-mashing madness, this list has the 10 couch co-ops you absolutely need to play this year. Ready to find your next go-to game?
What in the hell? A hollow fiend! Get back!
What happens when you take the heavy Zelda-style action of Darksiders, zoom the camera way out, and split the chaos between two horsemen? You get Genesis, the spin-off that shouldn't work on paper, but somehow nails it. This one's a prequel, throwing war and strife into a mess stirred up by Lucifer himself. The setup is simple. Hunt down Hell's demon lords before the balance of creation collapses. But instead of another over-the-shoulder brawler, Genesis goes full top-down Diablo-looking at first glance. Don't be fooled, this is still Darksiders to the bone, with puzzles, platforming, and ridiculous boss fights. The hook is the dual gameplay. War brings his massive Chaos Eater sword, all weighty swings and knockdowns. Strife, on the other hand, is pure twin-stick shooter, juggling the pistol's mercy and redemption with alternate ammo types, like electricity that chains, beams that melt, and lava shots that scorch. Playing solo, you swap instantly between them. In co-op, each player picks one and sticks with it. And when things get hairy, you pop into chaos form or anarchy form, turning into a demon wrecking ball for a few glorious seconds. And instead of grinding gear, you build out your character through creature cores, which are drops from demons that slot into a giant grid. Match types to their sockets and you'll squeeze out even bigger bonuses. On top of that, the Void Hub lets you shop with Vulgrim for upgrades, or hit up Dis for new combos, while side distractions like the Arena and Boatman's Labyrinth keep the grind fresh. And of course, it wouldn't be Darksiders without gadgets, and Genesis throws them all at you. Vorpal blade puzzles, Void bomb chaining, the Tremor gauntlet smashing walls, even a spark-based rail ride mechanic. It mixes up combat arenas with platform challenges that feel ripped straight from the mainline games. And yes, couch co-op. On PC and consoles, you can jump in with a friend on split screen, while online co-op is also available if you'd rather keep some distance. Grab a buddy, pick your horseman, and suddenly those puzzles and demon hordes feel completely different when tackled as a duo.
Erases the dirt!
Traitors!
It may look like a cartoon full of puns, but Cat Quest 2 hides a sharp action RPG under all that fur and fluff. The setup is simple. Two dethroned kings, one feline and one canine, set out across Felingard and the Lupus Empire to reclaim their crowns and stop Lioner and Wolfen from dragging their kingdoms into war. But the story doesn't just play it straight. It's loaded with puns, goofy names, and just enough twist to keep you curious about where this furry feud is headed. Gameplay is tight and immediate. Every fight boils down to timing your swings, weaving in magic, and rolling out of those big red danger zones enemies telegraph. Magic isn't just flashy, it's the core loop. You regenerate mana by smacking enemies, which means you're constantly bouncing between melee and spellcasting. The game gives you 12 spells, up to 4 equipped per hero, and each can be upgraded in temples until they nuke entire rooms. Weapons push variety even further. Light swords for speed, heavy axes for brute damage, and staves that let you rain projectiles at the cost of defense. Gear levels up at the blacksmith or whenever you find duplicates. So even those random chest drops matter. Some items pack powerful passive perks like extra mana on hit or elemental boosts that open up real build variety. Add in royal arts and specials tied to weapon types, and suddenly this cutesy RPG lets you min-max like you're in Diablo-like territory. Exploration is straightforward but satisfying. You'll trek through dungeons packed with traps, unlock fast travel markers, and eventually gain water walking to reach new islands. And side quests are short and loaded with puns. Perfect palate cleansers between main story beats. But the real kicker, of course, is the couch co-op. Cat Quest 2 was built with local co-op in mind, and it shows. In single player, you can swap between cat and dog on the fly, but grab a buddy, and the game transforms. One player can go melee while the other hangs back with ranged magic, and the synergy feels fantastic. The only catch is that online play isn't natively supported. You'll need Steam Remote or Parsec for that. Still, as a couch co-op RPG, this is one of the most accessible and fun options around. Back in 1993, RPGs were about menus, numbers, and waiting your turn. But Secret of Mana looked at that and said, nah, let's fight in real time. The result? A game where strategy and action collide in ways nobody had seen before. The setup is simple enough. A boy pulls a sword he shouldn't, wakes up ancient forces, and gets dragged into saving the world. Along the way, he's joined by a headstrong girl and a mischievous sprite, and together they take on an empire, a sinister sorcerer, and finally a raging mana beast that could wipe everything out. The story is classic fantasy, but what makes it stand out is how it's tied to the gameplay loop of sealing mana seeds and growing the legendary mana sword. Combat is where the game really flips expectations. You don't just mash attacks. Every swing drains a stamina bar, and unless you wait for it to refill, you're basically smacking enemies with a pool noodle. 8 different weapons keep things fresh, and each can be reforged with weapon orbs at the blacksmith to raise its level cap. Then, the more you use it, the more your character masters it, unlocking charged attacks. And then there's magic. Each elemental spirit you meet, like Undine, Salamando, and Shade, opens a new set of spells. Heal, buff, drop nukes, or, if you're feeling cheap, chain cast until bosses can't move. Yeah, the infamous spell lockout is very real, and speedrunners love it. Magic grows stronger the more you use it, but only if you've synced with the mana seeds, so the story and progression constantly feed into each other. And instead of digging through endless menus, the game pauses and lets you pick spells, items, or gear in seconds. Add in canon travel launches across the map, and later, free flight on the Dragon Flammy, and the world feels huge without breaking the pace. Plug in a multi-tap and up to 3 players can take control, simultaneously. It's chaotic, hilarious, and honestly the best way to play. On Super Nintendo, that mode was the showpiece, but ports vary. The collection of Mana on Switch keeps local co-op intact, and the 3D remake on PS4, Vita, and PC also supports it. Play alone, and you rely on AI scripts. Play together, and it becomes one of the purest co-op RPGs of the 90s.
Captain,
Nice and smooth. Leg actuators all functional.
Imagine Earth overrun by alien hordes, cities burning, and you dropped in with 3 other unlucky soldiers to clean it all up. That's Alienation in a nutshell. Housemarque's chaotic twin-stick shooter where bullets, explosions, and neon alien guts are everywhere. But don't let the arcade chaos fool you. Beneath the frantic action, this game hides a layer of build crafting and loot tinkering that keeps you hooked far longer than one more mission. The setup is simple. You're part of UNX, humanity's last line against the Xenos. Story beats exist mostly to frame your missions across the globe, but the real focus is on how you fight. You pick one of 3 classes. The tank soaks damage and controls the field, the biospecialist keeps allies alive while spreading poison, and the saboteur sneaks in for surgical strikes and even calls air support. Each comes with active skills and passives, and the fun is in mixing them with the right squad, or stubbornly trying to solo it, which feels like fighting with one hand tied behind your back. Loot is where Alienation really shines. Guns drop with rarities, slots, and stats to reroll. Then come the Alien Cores, which are colored mods you plug into weapons to boost damage, clip size, or fire rate. Match the right pattern, and you squeeze out extra stats and power scaling, while the real wild perks, like shots that chain electricity, come directly from the weapons themselves. Endgame pushes this further with UFO loot runs, arc ship score dungeons, and leaderboards that turn the grind into competition. And yes, you can endlessly tweak builds, respec skills, recycle gear, and chase higher world levels for nastier loot. The combat itself? Pure Housemarque mayhem. Tight controls, weighty melee swings, destructible arenas, and just enough panic moments to keep you mashing dash while swearing at your controller. The only thing you won't find is a pause button, not even solo, which is brutal, but it forces you to stay locked in. Add in optional PvP invasions, where another player can jump into your mission just to ruin your day, and suddenly even routine runs feel unpredictable. And about couch co-op. Originally, Alienation launched as online only, which annoyed plenty of people. But a post-launch update added 4-player local co-op on PS4, and all core modes are fully available offline with friends. No content restrictions, no half-baked splits, just grab some controllers and dive in.
Questions, Major, but it will have to wait for now. The auto-map is detecting a huge area of infestation.
Adventurer to an RPG unlike any other. In a world forsaken by...
What if an RPG didn't just let you fight enemies, but turned every battle into a puzzle of fire, poison, and lightning bouncing across the battlefield? That's Divinity Original Sin 2, one of the most reactive RPGs ever made. The setup is simple on paper. You're a sorcerer, a prisoner dragged to Fort Joy with a collar that blocks your powers. But the world doesn't just hand you quests, it reacts to everything. Your race, your background tags, even whether you decided to talk to a random squirrel knight riding a skeleton cat. The story isn't just epic, it's personal, and every choice pushes you toward or away from godhood. Combat is where it hooks you. Every turn runs on action points, and you're always juggling positioning, terrain, and your enemy's 2 armor bars, physical and magical armor plus their health. Knockdowns and stuns won't land until you burn through the right armor, which makes focus fire a necessity. Add height advantages, barrels of oil begging for a fireball, and lightning crackling through rain-soaked floors, and suddenly, every fight feels like a highlight reel of chaos you somehow planned. Progression ignores rigid classes. You build characters by mixing schools. Pyro with Necro, Arrow with Scoundrel, Summoning with Polymorph, it's all fair game. Skills come from books, and sometimes you literally craft new abilities by merging them. Then there are talents that flip the rules. Lone Wolf makes a 2-character run absurdly strong. Pet Pal opens entire quest lines through talking to animals, and Savage Sortilege turns every spell into a crit fest. Outside of combat, civil abilities keep you busy like Persuasion for dialogue checks, Lucky Charm for loot drops, Thievery for the kleptomaniacs, and bartering if you just hate paying full price. The Definitive Edition tightened everything. Better journal flow, revamped late-game areas, and new difficulty options including a story mode. On top of that, you get quality-of-life boosts like Respect through a magic mirror, and free gift bag content that added runes, sets, and even new talents. And yes, this is a true couch co-op RPG. On PC, PS4, and Xbox One, you can split-screen the entire campaign with a friend, each exploring different areas or pursuing your own quests. On Switch, co-op is online only with no local split screen. And if you want to go bigger, the game also lets you combine local couch play with online friends for up to 4 players total. So whether you want to roleplay as a chaotic duo on the couch or drag your whole squad through a 100-hour tactical saga, it's all here. Hey guys, do me a solid and smash the hype button. Then drop a comment with your favorite pick for the next part of this series. I check and reply to all of them. They both feed the almighty algorithm and push this channel forward, and honestly, it's hands down the best way you can help the channel grow. And of course, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button so you won't miss the next one.
Stay a while. Stay forever. I mean, stay as long as you wish.
What happens when a game hands you 8 elements, tells you to mash them together however you want, and then laughs while your friends explode from accidental lightning strikes? That's Magicka 2, a sequel that doubles down on chaos, sarcasm, and the pure joy of blowing yourself up in the name of magic. The setup is simple enough. After the Wizard Wars, Midgard is left almost wizard-free. A prophecy speaks of a child destined to change everything. And Vlad, who is absolutely not a vampire no matter how many times he insists, sends you and up to 3 buddies to protect her. That's the premise. But let's be real. The story is mostly there to set the stage for the real fun, the spell system. Magicka 2's combat isn't about cooldown wheels or preset spellbooks. Instead, you've got 8 core elements that you can queue up to 5 at a time in any combination. That means vapor clouds, rock-fueled fireballs, chain lightning infused into swords, and the glorious moment you accidentally zap your own teammate standing in a puddle. Friendly fire is always on, which means co-op quickly devolves into equal parts teamwork and betrayal. The game also spices things up with magics, which are big flashy spells like Thunderhead, Revives, and Speed Boosts. Normally they're on cooldown, but clever players know the old trick. Certain combos still let you cast them almost instantly if you've memorized the input. Add in the new ability to cast while moving, plus beam attacks that merge when crossing, and the battlefield feels like a live chemistry experiment. The fun isn't in grinding levels or loot. There's no XP tree to climb. It's in mastering the inputs and improvising on the fly. Outside combat, you've got a light layer of management. Robes, staffs, and weapons each come with buffs or penalties, letting you lean into tanky builds, glass cannon setups, or just cosmetic goofiness. Then there are artifacts, game rule modifiers that range from difficulty tweaks to complete nonsense, like sitcom laugh tracks whenever someone dies. It's Magicka embracing its own absurdity, and it works. Now, let's talk couch co-op, because that's where Magicka 2 shines brightest. Every campaign mission and challenge mode supports up to 4 players, both online and local, and you can even mix them. On PC, one player can use keyboard and mouse while the others need controllers. And on PS4, local co-op is built right in. There's no watered-down version here. The entire game is available in couch co-op with no hidden restrictions. Just gather your friends, pick your robes, and prepare to fry each other more often than the actual enemies.
Frederick, are you all right?
Forget about casting fireballs with boring MP bars. Tales of Grace's F throws you into a system where every swing, every dodge, every combo feels like spending stamina in a fighting game. The story kicks off with Asbel, a headstrong kid who grows into a knight tangled in political wars, childhood friendships gone sideways, and a mysterious girl named Sophie who, oddly enough, doesn't age. It's not the most original setup, but the execution keeps the relationships at the heart of everything. And in the F version, you even get a whole new epilogue arc that ties up character arcs and throws in one last planetary crisis for good measure. But the real star here is the combat. The game uses the style shift system, which means every character has 2 modes of arts: A arts for physical combos and B arts for special techniques. You can swap between them mid-chain, so fights feel like you're improvising a combo string in a fighting game. Forget mana. Here you spend CC, a stamina-like resource that constantly drains and refills. Dodge at the right time or guard perfectly, and you get CC back instantly, so skill actually matters. Push it further and the Eleth burst system drops, and suddenly, no CC limit, just pure chaos. Each character also has Axel mode, a personal super burst that heals or buffs depending on who you're playing. Outside combat, the game sneaks in some clever management. The Eleth Mixer is basically an auto-alchemy gadget that duplicates items, cooks meals mid-battle, or activates passive buffs, all while you just keep playing. There's also Dualize, a crafting system that lets you fuse weapons and armor, stacking properties into ridiculous builds. And character growth isn't locked behind boring menus. You equip titles, each with its own 5-level track, unlocking arts, stat boosts, and skills. Now, here's the kicker for anyone with friends. Tales of Grace's F has full couch co-op in every battle, up to 4 players at once. Story exploration is solo, but the instant a fight starts, friends can jump in. It's available on PS3, and now with the remastered on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. Switch also has co-op, but same screen only. If you're playing on PC, plug in controllers and you're good, but no online co-op. This is strictly local.
demon host. What have you been up to here, Tech Priest?
What if Diablo had a grimdark cousin raised by the Inquisition? Well, that's basically Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr. It looks like a typical ARPG at first glance, but the deeper you go, the more you realize it's playing a slower, meaner game, one that rewards patience, positioning, and a bit of masochism. You drop into the Caligari sector as an Inquisitor, poking into heresy, chaos cults, and the mysterious fortress monastery Martyr. The story pushes through conspiracies and the secret of the Alpha Pariah, and if you add the Prophecy expansion, you get a whole new class and a continuation of that arc. But let's be real, you're here to purge, and the game gives you plenty of tools for it. Combat isn't just run and gun, there's a suppression bar that punishes you if you stay in the open too long, forcing you to duck behind cover or get knocked flat. And yes, cover actually matters here, because most of it can be blown to pieces, which means you can strip enemies of their safe spots just as quickly as they can do the same to you. Add in the inoculator system, a customizable mix of heals and buffs, and every fight feels like juggling survival tools rather than spamming potions. Each class has branching trees, perks tied to achievements, and moral choices that shift you toward Puritan or radical paths, which can even change your gear options. Outside of battle, you've got tarot cards to stack mission modifiers, priority assignments that work like mini text-based campaigns, and the big One Void Crusades, endgame gauntlets that string missions into massive meta-campaigns. It's a loop designed to keep you tinkering with builds and replaying missions for the perfect relic drop. Of course, not everything lands. Missions can get repetitive, and if you're used to the speed of Diablo or Path of Exile, Martyr might feel sluggish. But if you want tactics over button mashing, it has its own flavor. Now, about couch co-op. The game does support local split screen, but only on consoles. That means PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series all let you play side by side, while PC players are stuck online only. Up to 4 can purge together online, but on the couch, it's strictly 2 players. What happens when you mix a Saturday morning cartoon vibe with a hardcore beat-em-up and then dump a bucket of RPG mechanics on top? You get Young Souls. This is not your usual button masher. It's a game where every dodge, parry, and gear choice actually matters, and yeah, sometimes it'll smack you harder than a Souls game just to remind you who's boss. You play as Jen and Tristan, a pair of rebellious twins who stumble into a goblin underworld while trying to rescue their adoptive professor. The story leans on sibling banter and witty writing, which gives the constant dungeon crawling a sense of personality instead of just being another save-the-world quest. And those dungeons, they're laid out like gauntlets of rooms and bosses, each run broken up with loot, keys, and secrets that keep the pace tight. Combat is where Young Souls really shines. You've got weapon types that completely change your rhythm, like quick daggers, heavy hammers, wide-arcing axes, or straight-up swords. Parrying at the perfect moment stuns enemies and charges your mana for specials, and switching between the twins mid-fight turns every battle into a mini tag team wrestling match. Then throw in mana-powered special moves, bombs, grappling hooks, vampiric totems, and even teleport gadgets. It's chaotic in the best way possible. Outside the fights, the game lets you shape your builds. Equipment weight alters your dodge speed and overall mobility. Full armor sets grant unique bonuses, and sneakers, yes, sneakers, come with passive perks. Then there's the Happy Fit Gym, where you spend tokens on mini-games that raise your core stats. Nail the timing, and suddenly you've got a tanky bruiser or a lightning-fast glass cannon. But let's be real, it's not perfect. The later bosses sometimes recycle attack patterns, and the repetition can creep in if you marathon it. Still, the campaign hits around 10 hours, which feels just right for what it's trying to do. Young Souls was built with local co-op in mind, and it works beautifully. One twin for you, one for your buddy, full campaign playable side by side. There's no online play at all though, so if you're thinking about teaming up, it has to be in the same room.
my clothes!
What if loot wasn't just loot, but an addiction? And that's Borderlands 2 in a nutshell. You drop into Pandora, a wasteland run by the narcissistic and hilarious Handsome Jack, and suddenly every firefight is a slot machine with bullets. The hook? Guns. Millions of them. But not just in stats, but in personality. One brand has you tossing your gun like a grenade every time you reload. Another starts shaky, then locks laser precise the longer you fire. There's even a type built entirely around explosions because why not? The story ties it all together with a mix of dark science fiction and absurd comedy. Sanctuary becomes your hub, your refuge, and eventually, no joke, a flying city. Jack isn't just a cartoon villain. He's the smug voice in your ear reminding you at every turn that he owns Pandora. And you're just another bandit. It's one of those rare games where the antagonist steals the spotlight and you love to hate him. Mechanically, Borderlands 2 builds on the looter-shooter formula with 6 distinct classes. Salvador dual-wields like a maniac, Zero cloaks and backstabs. Maya locks enemies mid-air with space magic. And DLC additions like Gage and her killer robot Deathtrap change the rules completely. Every class has 3 skill trees, so your build actually feels unique, not just a damage reskin. Add in relics, class mods, and the infamous slag element, coding enemies to make them take double or even triple damage, and suddenly min-maxing becomes its own endgame. But here's the real kicker: couch co-op. Borderlands 2 is one of the last big shooters that still lets you split screen on the couch. On PS3, Xbox 360, and even later on PS4 and Xbox One, you and a buddy can dive in without needing 2 TVs or extra hardware. The PC version, though, never got official split-screen support. Mods exist, but it's not native. So if you want that classic 2-player chaos, consoles are the way to go. 4-player online is everywhere, but nothing beats arguing over loot while you're literally sitting side by side.
Seriously, can you just stop? I put a lot of work into this plan and make a jack crates and you just freaking... Oh my god, you killed him so easily. Okay, that's bad. Wow, that's disheartening.
If you're still with me, the link to the playlist is popping up in the card right now. And before you go, don't forget to smash the hype button, leave a comment, and hit sub so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the comments section.